still morning? Yeah, it is. Good morning, everybody. I'm going to keep my presentation really brief because I suspect you all have a lot of questions, not only for the other panelists that you haven't had an opportunity to ask, but after I do my presentation, you may have some as well. So I'm going to keep it really, really brief. Community Action Marin FoodWorks started as Preserve Sonoma, and it started with the inspiration of a local farmer who had exquisite strawberries and didn't sell them all at the farmer's market and was going to go home and compost them. And I went, that's insane. That's just crazy. I can't believe that. Let me make some jam for you. So I made some jam for her, and she sold that, and we won an award for one of the jams we made from a group called Good Food Awards. And I started, at the time I was basically unemployed, and I started thinking, there might be a business here. And I started talking to other farmers and found out how much of our local small farmers' produce ends up going back into the ground because you can't sell it. Because it's not A quality, because it's, you got a bigger crop than you thought, all of those things. So I started this little business called Preserve Sonoma. Well, I didn't have enough capital to really keep it going, but there was a lot of interest. And Community Action Marin, which is a large nonprofit, had this big, beautiful 2,500 square foot kitchen that was not being used at all after 10 o'clock in the morning. It's used in the morning to feed about 800 Head Start kids in Marin County. So they invited me to come down and take the business to the next step. They invested $165,000 into it. And what we do now is we work with local farmers to make food products for you that you either sell at the farmer's market or you put into your CSA or whatever. And we have a number of farm clients now. The need for that business is so great that we are now anticipating a move from a 2,500 square foot facility to a 20,000 square foot facility in Petaluma next year. We thought that our business we would achieve capacity where we are in about year 3. We're just at the end of year 1 now, and we're beyond capacity. So there's this great need for being able to produce smaller quantities of local foods, and that's what we do. So Dave's pickles are, in fact, my favorite pickles on the planet. He's not kidding when he says he makes, and Lou's are also really, really, really good. Lou's bread, however, is awesome, and I really encourage you to go and visit Lou. He was very much an inspiration for me in starting my business. So when you think about co-packing, if any of you ever do, you think about big giant factories with big giant tubes that go across ceilings and into 200-gallon kettles and then into big fillers, and then these automatic, they're really noisy places and you have to wear hearing protectors in them. It's not what we do. And the minimum for most co-packers is anywhere from 300 cases to 1,000 to 50,000 cases of product. Our minimum is 25 cases. And we're very artisanal. We do things by hand with the assistance of as much machinery as makes sense. And going forward, I know there's going to be a little more machinery that's going to make sense. But our goal is to put people to work, not machines, and to really treat the product with ultimate respect. Yesterday, I was out at a tomato farmer up in Alexander Valley, and he was showing me these tomatoes he was going to throw away. And I was purchasing 200 pounds of his tomatoes for another client's product. And I said, why are you throwing those away? And he said, well, they're not good enough for me to sell at his farmer's market or to his restaurants. And I said, but that's exactly what we do. We want to take your B quality produce and give you a product that you can sell and make money on that loss that you would incur otherwise. So that's basically what Community Action Marin, I don't know how to work these. There's some great, let's see, does this just go up or down or how's that? I don't, that one's.
Okay, so where should
yeah,
we go?
there. Let's look at some of the pictures. That's our kitchen. Let's see, this is our kitchen. It's really simple. We've got we have a 45-quart RoboCoo. It's a giant food processor. So we make, there's another product in another picture. We make a lot of fresh chimichurri sauces for a local food entrepreneur. These are Medlock Ames products we made last year, and we make products for McAvoy Ranch. There are two markets we serve, local farmers and local food entrepreneurs. So the small food entrepreneur who has an idea to take to market can't go from making it themselves in an incubator kitchen to getting it onto grocery store shelves. They just can't get there with a normal co-packer. But they can get there with us because our minimums are small. I was really interested in Dave's model when he was talking about co-packers' gross margins being 30% about. Ours are more like 20. And that's purposeful. We're not in it to make big money. We're in it to really benefit the local economy, to make enough money to pay the people who are working for us, and to put beautiful food out there. I see a day someday where when you need to go buy frozen produce in the wintertime, that's Sonoma County, Mendocino County, Marin County. That's local stuff that's been frozen. That our grocery store shelves are filled with more local product, and I could go on and on about the need for that. There's a calculator called the Valley Calculator that measures the difference between what we consume and what is supplied locally, and it's enormous. So let's see, what else did I want to say very quickly? Oh, when you think about doing what Lou has done, which is have your own commercial kitchen, your own facility, it's pretty expensive, right, Lou? I mean, yes. I don't know if you want to share what your investment in all of that has been over time. No. But I was on a panel with Wayne from Tierra Vegetables last year, and he did that. He built out his own commercial kitchen. He did all that, and he said flat out, I will never make enough product in that kitchen to break even on it. Wow. That's just what he said. So that's what we do. We take the compliance issues out of it for you. We incur the investment of the big build out of the kitchen. We take care of you don't have to get a food processing license. We take care of registering your product with CCOF. You're farmers. Basically, you want to farm, and you want to make money doing it, or at least be able to, pay for your kids' education, right? So that's our role. And I can tell you that in the entire United States, there's only one other company quite doing what we're doing, and they're in upstate New York. So it has been, Dave mentioned this, the last 7 years of his life being like the most enormously challenging. I would say the last year of my life, 2 years, have been just like that. It's been a straight up learning curve, but as you said also, my life is so much richer because of the people that I've met, incredible people, and God, look at where we get to live. I mean, look out those windows. Why wouldn't we want to do everything we can possibly to strengthen our local economy? So, going to work every day, even if it's a 12 or 18-hour day, is a real inspiration. I think I'll stop there because I promised to keep it short. Hopefully I did. I invite you to go to our website. It'll tell you a lot more. If you go to what we do and go to services and products, it'll give you just a whole step-by-step of what it takes to work with us. If you go to resources, there are pieces on there about what you need to do to develop compliant labels, that kind of thing. I do have a number of business cards, so please come at the break and talk to me. I can be here. I have to leave at 1 because I've got another appointment at 2, but I look forward to talking to you all, and it's really an honor to serve on this panel, I'll tell you. Thank you for inviting me. Any questions?
I'm just curious about how the packaging works. Do you guys come up with the jars or packages or that kind of thing? And what about labeling? How much is done by the farmer and how much is done by you?
The two things the farmer is responsible for is bringing us their product, their apples or their tomatoes or their cucumbers or their whatever, and getting their labeling in order. I will advise on it, but you need to find a designer and a label printer, and there are resources for that on our website. So you need to provide the label and you need to provide the produce, and then we'll source the jars. We'll do a test run for you. After a test run, we give you a quote of what that product is going to cost, and we pack it, we make it, we package it, we label it, we put it in cases. We're not set up to ship yet, so you come back and you pick it all up. 25 cases of a standard product is going to fit in anybody's trunk.
What about a recipe? I mean, are you sometimes supplying the recipe, or is the farmer sometimes supplying the recipe?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's sort of a collaboration.
If you have one of my favorite clients is Aunt Aggie's Tomato Smash. I met Peter Wagner at a food forum in Healdsburg 2 summers ago, and he said, "I've got a recipe and I need you to make it." And it was his great Aunt Aggie's tomato relish. That's now on the shelf at Oliver's markets and some other markets. We made his test batch. He was 82 years old, phenomenal man, phenomenal character. When I was ready to deliver his first test sample to him, his daughter called me and said he died suddenly over the weekend. And so that was a blow, but she was inspired because this relish is a big part of their family, going back 2 generations. So we developed the recipe, made it friendly for 25 case batches. And it's a legacy. You know, it's a legacy to take your family's recipe and turn that into something. So, yeah. And I think you had a question?
Yeah. The facility you want to move into in Petaluma, is that People's Harvest?
No. People's Harvest, I know there's been a lot of misinformation about what's going on with them. And I'm not going to speak a lot about it, but they are now in a temporary location in Novato, part of another nonprofit I can't remember the name of right now. It's New Beginnings or Turnkey or something. No, it's not People's Harvest location. No, it's another one, and I can't speak about what it is yet.
And then, is anybody doing dairy processing?
No. Not a co-packer like myself that I know of. Linda might know, but dairy processing, co-packing, we don't have that here. There's two needs that are really lacking. One is any kind of meat processing where you can do charcuterie in a USDA approved kitchen, and the other is dairy. So the group that I'm talking to is very, very, very interested in building out a food cluster and attracting those kinds of businesses. When we move, we plan to do fermenting, canning, drying, and some baking. I really don't want to get into the dairy and the meat thing myself because that's another whole can of worms. But I think that this particular group would be very interested in, if anybody else has the wherewithal to start a new business. There's a great need for that. Yeah, Dave, come on. Why not? Yeah. Any other questions? Not just for myself, but anybody else?
I had a question for Dave about your packaging. It looked like on your website that you were using some kind of plastic packaging as opposed to the standard kind of pickle jar type of thing. Is that actually what you're doing? And have you found that it's difficult to get it into